Hello everyone, a very good afternoon to all of you. Dear students, as you know, we have completed almost half part of the lesson, a portrait of a lady. Right now we have to complete the chapter today. But before going ahead, let me give you what we have read so far in the lesson. So have a look. In this chapter so far we read all about grandmother. So Khuswant Singh draws here an interesting portrait of his grandmother. He presents her a tender, loving, and deeply religious lady. Khuswant Singh draws here an interesting portrait of his grandmother. He presents her as a tender, loving, deeply religious lady. He says that his grandmother was an old woman. She was so old and her face, she was so old and her face was so wrinkled that it was difficult to believe that she ever have young and Pritam. Khuswant Singh at that time was a young child. Okay. His parents had gone to live in the city, leaving him behind with his grandmother. See, Khuswant Singh draws here an interesting portrait of his grandmother. The first complete paragraph is all about to portrait the grandmother. He presents her a tender, loving, and deeply religious lady. He says that his grandmother was an old woman. She was so old and her face was so wrinkled that it was difficult to believe she ever had young and pretty. Khuswant Singh at that time was a young child. His parents had gone to live in the city, leaving him behind with his grandmother. And at that time, the whole responsibility of Khuswant Singh was in the hands of the grandmother. So she usually did everything for the author, whether it is the matter of make him ready for the school or the arrangements of other things, whatever may be, everything is being settled by the old lady at that time. But after this settlement, when the parents of author asked him to come there in the city, their friendship में a little bit snapped. तो ये सब बातें जो हैं हम आगे इसमें पढ़ेंगे. अब तक हमने जो इसमें पढ़ा वो ये कि एक अच्छा सा पोर्ट्रेट लेखक ने दिया अपनी दादी का, कि उसकी अवस्था कैसी थी, वो कितनी बूढ़ी थी. जब से कहता है कि मैंने उसको जानना शुरू किया पिछले 20 साल से, वो उतनी ही एज में थी जितनी कि वो दिखाई दी. और जब शहर में आकर के उनके पेरेंट्स सेटल हो गए, पूरी की पूरी जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी थी एट द टाइम वॉज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द ओल्ड लेडी, और उसके ऊपर वो बहुत ज़्यादा खरी हुई थी. लेकिन बाद में जब उसके पेरेंट्स अच्छे ढंग से सेटल हो गए सिटी में, तो उन्होंने ऑथर को और उसकी दादी को भी शहर में बुलाया. अब हम इस आगे पढ़ेंगे कि बाद में इसमें क्या घटित होता. देखिए, लेट्स open your textbook at page number 4 here. My grandmother was always went to school with me because the school was attached to the temple. The priest taught us the alphabet and the morning prayer, while the children sat in rows to either side of the veranda singing the alphabet or the prayer in chorus. My grandmother sat inside reading the scriptures. क्योंकि टेम्पल और स्कूल साथ साथ थे, अटैच थे, तो दोनों साथ जाते थे. वो स्क्रिप्चर्स को पढ़ती थी, धार्मिक ग्रंथों को पढ़ती थी, जबकि लेखक वहाँ अपने एकेडमिक्स में थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ता था. When we had both finished, we would walk back together. This time the village dogs would meet us at the temple door. They followed us to our home, growling, fighting with each other for the chapatis we threw them. तो चपाती हम फेंकते थे, उनके लिए वो ग्राउल करते थे और जो है छीना झपटी करते थे पीछे पीछे हमारे. When my parents were comfortably settled in the city, they sent for us. That was the turning point in our friendship. What was the turning point in their friendship? That was the time when the author and his grandmother settled in the city. जब विलेज में थे, that was everything smooth at that time. लेकिन जब वो शहर में विस्थापित हो गए, चले गए, उस समय टर्निंग पॉइंट था. Although we shared the same room, my grandmother no longer came to school with me. I used to go to an English school in a motor bus. There were no dogs in the street, and she took to feeding sparrows in the courtyard of the city house. क्योंकि सिटी हाउस में वहाँ पर डॉग्स नहीं थे. अब वो लेखक के साथ स्कूल में भी नहीं जाती थी, इसलिए उसने स्पैरो को फीड करना शुरू कर दिया. As the years rolled by, we saw less of each other. For some time, she continued to wake me up and get me ready for the school. When I came back, she would ask me what the teacher had taught me. वहाँ पहुँचने के बाद काफ़ी समय तक वो उसका संज्ञान लेती रही, उससे पूछती रही, सुबह उसको जल्दी उठाती रही. लेकिन जब वो वापस आता तो उससे वो क्वेश्चन होता कि स्कूल में क्या पढ़ाया गया. I would tell her English words and things of Western science and learning. तो मैं बताता उसको कि कुछ चीज़ें इंग्लिश की और कुछ वेस्टर्न साइंस की लर्निंग के बारे में, जैसे कि द लॉ ऑफ ग्रेविटी, आर्किमिडीज प्रिंसिपल, द वर्ल्ड बीइंग राउंड. दिस मेड हर अनहैप्पी. But she doesn't believe in such type of things. She doesn't believe in such type of learning at school. She wanted that the student must know about the religious scriptures and must acknowledge and gain knowledge about the things related to Almighty or our own tradition. She made her unhappy. She could not help me with my lessons. She did not believe in the things they taught at the English school and was distressed, and there was no teaching about God and scriptures. वो दुखी इस बात से थी कि वहाँ गॉड के बारे में कोई बात नहीं होती, वहाँ स्क्रिप्चर्स को नहीं पढ़ाया जाता. One day I announced that we were being given music lesson. She was very distraught. To her, music had a lewd association. Lewd association means vulgar. ये अच्छे भले आदमियों का काम नहीं हो सकता. It was the monopoly means dominance of harlots. Harlots means prostitute, beggars, and not meant for the gentle folk. According to grandmother, Music is totally associated with the vulgarity or lewd associations. It was the monopoly of harlots and beggars, and it is not meant for the gentle people. It was the monopoly of harlots and beggars and not meant for gentle folk. She said nothing, but her silence meant disapproval. वो बोलती कुछ नहीं थी, चुप रहती थी, लेकिन चुप्पी का मतलब था कि वो इन चीज़ों से एग्री नहीं थी. She rarely talked to me after that. When I went up to university, I was given a room of my own. The common link of friendship was left. Right now there was, a gap, because now the author was given a different room, another room. My grandmother accepted her seclusion with resignation. Accepted, स्वीकार कर लिया. Seclusion means private loneliness को, resignation को कहेंगे peacefully, शांति के साथ. She rarely left her spinning wheel to talk to anyone. Now the most of time of grandmother must spent in front of the spinning wheel. From sunrise to sunset, she sat by the wheel spinning and reciting prayers. एक ही काम था, सूर्योदय से सूर्यास्त तक वो वहाँ बैठती और उसके पश्चात स्पिनिंग व्हील वो सूत काटती, रिसाइटिंग प्रेयर्स को रिसाइट करते हुए. ओनली इन द आफ्टरनून शी रिलैक्स फॉर ए वाइल टू फीड द स्पैरोज. एक ही समय होता था जब वो थोड़ी सी रिलैक्स होती थी, और वो समय होता था दोपहर का जब वो स्पैरोज को फीड कराती. While she sat in the veranda breaking the bread into little bits, hundreds of little birds collected round her, creating a vertical bedroom of chirpings. Veritable का मतलब यहाँ पर truly really, bedroom को कहेंगे एस्लम, chirpings चहचहाट. पागल खाना बना देती थी वो वहाँ पर, जब इतनी संख्या के अंदर, भारी संख्या के अंदर वो पक्षी वहाँ पहुँच जाते थे. Some came and pressed on her legs, कुछ उसकी टांगों पर बैठ जाते. Others on her shoulders. Some even sat on her head. She smiled but never shook them away. मुस्कुराती थी लेकिन कभी जो है उनको बाहर नहीं भगाती थी, खदेड़ती नहीं थी. It used to be happiest half hour of the day for her. और ये उसके दिन का सबसे बेहतरीन आधा घंटा होता था. कौन सा होता था? पर्टिकुलरली जब वो उन स्पैरोज के लिए उस ब्रेड्स के टुकड़े डालती थी. वो लगभग आधे घंटे का जो समय होता था, वो उसके पूरे दिन में हैप्पीएस्ट मोमेंट होता था. When I decided to go abroad for further studies, I was sure my grandmother would be upset. I would be away for 5 years, and at her age one could never tell, but my grandmother could. She was not even sentimental. Sentimental, भावुक होना. She came to leave me at the railway station, but did not talk or show any emotion. Her lips moved in prayer. Her mind was lost in prayer. Her fingers were busy telling the beats of her rosary. बिल्कुल शांत थी. उसकी जो उंगलियां थी वो उनसे माला के मन के जपने में लगी हुई थी. Silently she kissed my forehead. अचानक से उसने मेरे forehead को किस किया. And when I left, I cherished the moist imprint. मुझे cherished means careful, or I can say that loving. Moist imprint, नमी के वो चिन्ह, as perhaps the last sign, उनको मैंने एक अंतिम संकेत के तौर पर माना, और फिजिकल कॉन्टैक्ट, शारीरिक कॉन्टैक्ट का बिटवीन अस हमारे बीच में. But that was not so. After 5 years I came back home and was met by her at the station. 5 साल बाद जब मैं वहाँ पहुँचा तो एक बार फिर से उसको स्टेशन के पास में. She did not look at a older. She still had no time for words, and while she clapped me, जब उसने मुझे ग्रास्प किया, पकड़ा, क्लच किया, her arms, I could hear her reciting her prayers. Even on the first day of my arrival, her happiest moment were the sparrows whom she fed longer and with frivolous rebukes. Criticized or checked means अपने आप में थोड़ा सा बड़बड़ा करके बोलते रहना. In evening, a change came over her. She did not pray. She collected the women of the neighborhood, got an old drum, and started to sing. Now there was a change, and that was really unexpected change. For several hours, she thumped the sagging. Sagging means damaged, धसी हुई. स्किन, उसके ऊपर की जो परत थी उसको, ऑफ द डिलेपिडेटेड ड्रम, डिलेपिडेटेड को कहेंगे स्पॉइल, टॉर्न, वॉर्न, टूटा फूटा हुआ, उस ड्रम को वो प्ले करने के लिए उसको बजाती रही। एंड संग दी होम कमिंग ऑफ वॉरियर्स, और घर पर आने वाले योद्धाओं के गीत गुनगुनाती रही। वी हैड टू परसुएड हर टू स्टॉप टू ओवर स्ट्रेनिंग, हमें कोशिश करनी थी कि वो ओवर स्ट्रेनिंग से बचे, ज़्यादा मेहनत करने से बचे। दैट वॉज फर्स्ट टाइम सिंस आई हैड नोन हर दैट शी डिड नॉट प्रे, वो पहला अवसर था कि उस समय उसने प्रे नहीं की। The next morning she was taken ill. It was a mild fever and the doctor told us that it would go. But my grandmother thought differently. डॉक्टर ने क्या कहा कि वो माइल्ड फीवर था, हल्का बुखार था, चला जाएगा, लेकिन ग्रैंडमदर डिफरेंट सोच रखती थी से। She told us that her end was near. She said that since only a few hours before the close of last chapter of her life, she had omitted to pray. She was very remorseful right now. According to these words, she wanted to pray right now. She was not going to waste any more time talking to us. We protested, हमने विरोध किया, but she ignored our protests. She lay peacefully in bed, praying and telling her beads. Even before we could suspect, her lips stopped moving and the rosary fell from lifeless fingers. Lifeless, without life वाली फिंगर से, उंगलियों से उसकी रोजरी, उसकी माला नीचे गिर गई। A peaceful pallor, एक शांतपूर्ण पीलापन, spread on her face, and we knew that she was dead. We lifted her off the bed and, as is customary, laid her on the ground and covered her with a red shroud. Shroud means a length of cloth covered over a dead body. मर्द शरीर के ऊपर कवर करने वाला, ढकने वाला जो कपड़ा होता है, कफन जिसको बोलते हैं, उसकी बात की। After a few hours of mourning is expression of sorrow, we left her alone to make the arrangements for her funeral. In the evening, we went to her room with a crude structure. Crude structure को अर्थ ही कहा गया है, जिसमें dead body को carry किया जाता है. To take to the cremated means disposed of. The sun was setting and had lit her room and veranda with a blaze of golden light. उस समय प्रकाश जो था, सूर्य अस्त होने वाला था और उसका तेज गोल्डन कलर का प्रकाश जो था वहाँ हल्के रूप में पहुँच रहा। We stopped halfway in the courtyard, all over the veranda and in her room, right up to where she lay dead and stiff, wrapped in the red shroud. Thousands of sparrows had settled on the floor. जहाँ पर वो नीचे मर्द अवस्था में स्टिफ, थोड़ी सी सख्त होकर के वहाँ पर लेटी हुई थी, सैकड़ों की संख्या में जो पक्षी थे, जो स्पैरोज थी, वो उसके चारों। There was no chirping, वहाँ चहचहाट नहीं थी। We felt sorry for the birds. हमें उन पक्षियों के लिए बड़ा खेद महसूस हुआ, बड़ा दुख महसूस हुआ। And my mother fetched some bread for them, और मेरी मदर उनके लिए कुछ रोटी, ब्रेड ले आई। She broke into little bits, the way my grandmother used to. जिस प्रकार से ग्रैंडमदर करती थी, उस प्रकार से उनके छोटे छोटे टुकड़े किए गए। And threw it to them. The sparrows took no notice of the bread. लेकिन स्पैरोज ने कोई भी ध्यान नहीं दिया। When we carried my grandmother's corpse off, जब हम उसके डेड बॉडी को, कॉर्प्स को लेकर के वहाँ से चले, they flew away quietly, वो चुपके से वहाँ से उड़ गए। Next morning, the sweeper swept the bread crumbs into the dustbin. अगले दिन स्वीपर ने जो टुकड़े थे ब्रेड के, वो उठा करके डस्टबिन में डाल दिए। यहाँ हमें ये पता चलता है कि कितना जो है पक्षी भी उसके साथ इमोशनली जुड़े थे, और उन्होंने भी कोई ब्रेड क्रम्स वहाँ नहीं लिया जब लेखक की मदर ने कुछ टुकड़े ब्रेड के वहाँ डालना चाहे। You know students, this is the first part complete. I would like to say chapter here on. So we have to discuss the question of this chapter and we must continue it with the next part.